Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Byrge, and he is a haunt actor, which I've been interviewing haunt actors lately because I feel it's an underappreciated acting part of the acting community, and I think they deserve more credit than they get. And I'm so glad to have Dizzy on my show. How you doing tonight, Dizzy?
Good, good. It's an honor to be here. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to have you on. I know, like I said, I had Obsolete on. I have Giselle on, I believe, either next week or the week after. I think she's just coming up one of these weeks. But yeah, I'm so excited to have you on. I can't wait to discuss more about haunt acting and just to give everybody a background about who you are and what you do and how you got your start. How did you become a haunt actor? How did you get your start into it?
Okay, well, this is going to be a story, but
Yep, sure.
my mother started me in haunt acting when I was 8 years old.
Mhm.
My mother started haunt acting when she was like 20.
Nice.
And I don't know, at first I wasn't really into it, but the more and further I got into it, the more I love terrifying people. Because you can't how do I put it? Over my 30 years of being a haunt actor,
Mhm.
there's never been a dull moment in my job at all.
Mhm.
My favorite part of the day is making someone pee themselves. I love it. And
That's
if it
cool.
wasn't for my mom, which she's still in this group I run called Oni's Legion,
Okay.
I have about 45 other haunt actors that I have working for me. It's an awesome thing to do. It's just, as you said, it's very underrated.
Yeah. Yeah. When you hear about acting, you think about television, think about film, you think about theater, but you don't think about haunts. And when you do think about haunts, you think about them around Halloween, and that's 1 month out of the entire year.
Yeah, and I actually do this year round.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I do it all the time. I have different characters. I have four different characters I do.
Nice.
This was my first character, Disaster.
Nice. And I love it. I love it. And that's why, like, I started out doing it as an October only thing. But when I spoke to Giselle, she's like, I have a couple of people that have Christmas, so that it might be good for December. And then, as I was interviewing haunt actors and haunt actors and haunt actors, I realized this isn't just a Halloween thing. This is something that people do all year round. They scare people online. They go
Oh,
live.
oh,
It's what they do for a living.
yeah. When my haunt ain't open, it's an axe throwing range. But when it ain't open, I do social media entertainment.
Nice. Nice.
I dress up and all my actors that I have, we all go on live feeds and do shows.
Nice.
We
Absolutely.
even
And
do challenges.
yeah,
Sorry,
any
I didn't mean
no,
to.
you're fine, you're fine. Any haunt actors that you do have under you as well or that you work with, send them my way and we could talk about it more after the interview, but I'd be more than happy to have them on. Now, starting in January, I start grad school, so I'm gonna be calming down my interviews a little bit. I won't be doing as many a month until I kind of get a schedule and a routine. But I
Yeah,
still would love to have them on, you know what I mean? I would love to, schedule them up and see what we can do.
yeah. Like my mom is in my haunt group, so
Nice.
that would
Yeah,
be an awesome one for you to do because she did haunting, but she never really did social media entertainment until I got her a mask and she
nice,
became Liko the clown.
nice. Oh, and we're gonna and I will love to interview her. And when I do, if she's up for it, like we can talk about what it was like to do haunt acting and what the transition was into social media entertaining.
Yeah, yeah, because it's a different world. Because usually in the haunt, like especially with my haunt that I work at, it's a newer haunt. This is just the
Mhm,
second year we've ran,
mhm.
but it's 1,400 acres, so it's a fun haunt. But
Right.
um, we even had other haunts like Fear Factory come down and review us.
Hmm.
and our haunt, man. It's just awesome because not many haunts are hands-on.
Right.
Our haunt is extreme hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
We will
Yeah.
throw blood on you. We will throw you in traps. Anything.
Nice. Now, have you had any angry, I guess, quote unquote, customers during the haunts?
Oh, yeah, dude. I was punched in the face
Oh shit.
like a week before we quit. Talk to him. Have Scott talk to him. I'm on an interview. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
Kids. Um, but yeah. What was I saying? Sorry, I got distracted.
About being punched in the face.
Oh yeah, I get punched in the face, dude. And these dudes, okay, you know, I have to say this because I've been having a big issue with it with haunted acting. People, when you come into a haunted house and you pay for hands-on, expect to be grabbed
Mm-hmm.
or tortured, whatever we do. And people get people touched. Well, if you want to be touched, why are you wearing hands-on? Yes, wait for him. Because there's different hands-on levels at our haunt. There's regular, which is no hands-on. You just go through and we scare the crap out of you.
Yep.
There is regular hands-on, which means we can't put blood on you, but we can still touch you. And then there's extreme hands-on, which means we can do basically anything we want to you.
Nice.
And people get so pissed. As I said, when I was working in a camper, and this big dude comes up, and I got right in his face and scared the crap out of him. I actually made him piss himself.
Oh my God.
And the dude got so pissed, he punched me right in the mouth.
Wow. Wow. Can you sue or do anything legally about that?
Yeah, once you punch an actor, you are escorted off the property and you are trespassed.
Wow. Okay.
Because you give us permission to put our hands on you.
Yeah.
We don't give you permission to put your hands on us.
Exactly. Especially
this is
with
our
the
job.
sign that states that, you know, you paying, and upon entry, you give us the right or the permission to do what you sign up to do. Like it's basically like when you go to a movie theater, when you buy a ticket, you go in there and you sit there and watch the movie.
Yeah. And you even have to sign a waiver for our haunt before you go in.
Okay. So then they obviously know there's no surprises.
Yeah. And, sometimes we run with a skeleton crew, but you know what? Even with 10 people, we can rock it out on a 1,400-acre haunt.
Yeah. And it's amazing that that haunts, like a lot of the haunts, the money goes to charity. Sometimes the haunts keep it in their funds for the next year or whatever, and usually haunts are for the month of October. Some of them start in September depending on what the haunt is. Some of them could be year round, but for those that like to go to haunts, say around Halloween, the only haunts they have are on Halloween, because we know Halloween has come and gone. So like, what advice, if somebody's afraid to go to a haunt, but they want to try a haunt and they didn't get a chance this year, but they're like, I might do it next year. What advice would you give to them to go and try it out?
Well, the advice I would give them is try the regular without hands-on first.
Okay.
Because then you would at least know what you're going to expect.
Yeah.
And then if you say, hey, well, that wasn't so bad, try the next level and the next level after that, because if I've dealt with some people that, I've had some freaky crap happen this year. I was choking this person and apparently some people have a habit of getting off that. It was funny as hell because all I heard when this girl and her friend walking away is, please tell me he's 18. Please tell me he's 18. Please tell me he's 18. And her friend says, why do you need to know if he's 18? She said, because I just came.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay. I just walked away. Some of these situations you don't know how to handle even after 30 years of doing it.
Yeah. And some
Like,
people are into that type of stuff.
yeah, and like we have the fake blood and it tastes like, oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
There was one chick that licked it off 3 haunt actors' hands.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Yeah,
So the person
yeah.
that said that pleases the 18 or whatever, the one that did that, was it the actor, or was it the boy, like the guy?
Well, I was the actor doing it, so it was the female that was asking, telling her friend, "Please tell me he's 18. Please tell me he's 18."
Oh, I got you. So she was asking that about you.
Yeah, yeah, because
Okay, I
apparently
got you.
she likes
That's
being
crazy.
choked. Yeah, and it's funny because when they walk in my camper, she's already doing this, stretching her shirt out, going, "You're the choker, huh?" I was like, "Uh-oh,
That is
uh-oh."
insane. And like I heard,
Yeah.
I mean, most of like a lot of my interviews are with the haunt actors are the really fascinating ones because they have amazing stories I've never heard before. Like Obsolete once told me about how a lady used her baby as a battering ram, basically a shield.
Oh, yeah. This I've never seen that in all 30 years until this year. There was this big dude carrying this little, like, a 7-month-old child, and she was holding her hand out in front of him to be his bumper guard.
Wow.
And I'm going, that's a child. Why would you bring a child to a haunt that's basically for adults?
Yeah, and even if you did, the fact that you're using that poor innocent child
Yeah, as
as
a
a
weapon.
shield to protect yourself, like how are you a parent?
Yeah, and see, I don't. Okay, I don't know about how other haunt actors react, but I felt really bad on this one kid. He was like maybe 9 years old,
Okay.
and he was with his dad and mom, and I scared the jeepers out of him so bad. He was holding on to the chain link fence. He was screaming, "I'm not going past that dude." He went out of my camper and ran straight up the hill to get out of the haunt.
Ooh.
My dad kicked in, and I went, "Gosh, I'm a jerk."
Right. Oh my
Sorry, I'm
gosh.
trying not to swear because I have a
No, you're
potty
fine.
mouth.
You're
So
fine. You're fine. Also, as you mentioned, like you do haunt acting, obviously during the Halloween spooky season type of months. And then of course you do entertainment acting on social media throughout the rest of the
yeah.
year. So what do you believe is the biggest difference between the two? Because we obviously know what the two are, but how do you transition between the spooky season of being on site of haunt acting and then transitioning into like social media entertainment?
Good question. Well, there's a major difference between the two.
Mhm.
Well, at least I think so. The first one is on the haunt, you have to interact with people
Mhm.
hands on or whatever. You have to be right in their face.
Mhm.
With social media, I'm more sociable and I'm not instantly an asshole and in your face and calling you dirty names and
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. Because with being a haunt actor at the haunt, you put on your persona.
Yeah.
You put on your face of, oh, this dude I'm gonna scare the shit out of this dude and he's gonna run out of here.
Mhm.
And people that come to my Facebook lives and stuff,
Mhm.
I just sit there and talk with them.
Okay.
I can just sit there and actually get a connection with them instead of just scaring the hell out of them and sending
Yeah.
them on their way.
And I would think it's
And
harder to maintain an audience on social media entertainment because obviously when you go to a haunt, you're paying to go there to get scared and everything. Yeah, you can leave if you don't want to do any more of it or whatever, but you're paying
yeah,
to be there. Whereas social media entertainment, if they're not entertained, they're gone.
oh yeah, and that's why I do challenges.
Yeah.
Like my record for eating raw eggs is 25 raw eggs.
Wow. Wow. Raw
Yeah, and
eggs?
we do hot sauce challenges. Yeah, raw eggs, raw eggs.
Okay.
We do all kinds of challenges, like all the TikTok challenges,
Okay.
but we don't do the dumbass ones like these dumbass kids do these days. Oh, I'm
So you're
sorry to
not
say
doing
that, but some
Tide
of these
Pods and
kids.
you're not snorting condoms and all that
No, no, and see, I was thinking about that in the back of my head. You said it before I did, but yeah,
stuff.
we we do like waxing live feeds.
Yeah.
We do push the limits.
Yeah.
We do push the limits.
Okay.
Because there's sometimes people would you know, we have female actresses and they want to do a bra feed.
Okay. What's that now?
People people get offended by it, but here's the thing: if the girl's comfortable doing it, she's not being forced to do it.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not like she's flashing her boobs to everybody.
Right. Yeah, and pushing
And
the
that,
limit is fine. It's when you do the stupid stuff that can really get somebody hurt or sick. Like I seen this
yeah,
one TikTok challenge where these kids were it was like at the height the peak of COVID, and they're licking public toilets to see who can get
toilet
COVID
seats.
first. Like public toilets. You don't know what diseases or whatever this person that used that toilet had. Public
Yeah,
toilet.
you know, I don't know what generation you are, but I'm Gen
I
X.
was born in '89. I guess that's millennial, but I'm definitely more mature than a normal millennial.
Yeah, I'm a Gen X. So when I see people doing this stupid shit, I just sit there and go, God, you're gonna die quicker than me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I never, in my generation, when we played outside and all that, we were eating dirt, drinking out of hose water, and we never got any kinds of funky diseases.
Yeah. Yeah.
But nowadays, these diseases are like right around the corner, and there's these dumbass people licking toilet seats and
And
car steering
storing
wheels. It's like, you know
condoms
how
and
many?
Tide Pods. These things can people flossing their teeth to make the see who can get the enamel off the most. Like these things are
Oh,
like, people don't do those. If you want to see actual challenges safe but push the limits, check out Disney. Check them out.
yeah, you can always. Sorry to do a shameless plug, but you can always look up
No.
Oni's Legion on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oni's Legion. As a matter of fact, after this interview, I'm going to be doing another live for
Nice.
Facebook.
Nice. Awesome. And I do have to ask this. I've asked Obsolete. I asked everybody that I had on from the Han so far
I'll
when
sleep
they
with that.
had like that when they had interesting names. You probably know where this is going. Where did the name Dizzy Byrge come from?
Well, I was drinking with my friend one day, and my real name is Dizzy. So,
Okay.
but I was drinking with my friend, and she started yelling at me, screaming Dismond, and I'm like, "What the hell? Why don't we just change it up?" And then I figured disaster, but spell it different.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so disaster, this dude here has been around for almost 20 years.
Nice. Nice. That's awesome. That's
How
awesome.
did you come up with Slasher Scotty?
Well, it's kind of a play on words, like the double S thing. And I'm a
Yeah.
horror movie fan, and I know there's all types of genres of horror and subgenres and everything. There's the paranormal, the creature feature, and then there's the slashers. And I love the slashers. Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood is the first horror movie I watched, 6 years old. Got yelled at by a good friend of mine who was the final girl in that movie, Laura Park Lincoln. Got yelled at by her. She's like, I wouldn't even let my kids watch my movie at 6 years old. But yeah, I ended up watching that, and then I went through and watched all the Friday the 13th. Then I went through and watched all the Halloweens and all the Nightmare on Elm Street, Screams, and all that stuff, all the way up to whatever the most recent was at the time. Because I know for Friday the 13th, I think the most recent was Jason Goes to Hell, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Jason. It wasn't Jason X, because I was 12 years old when Jason X came out, or so, give or take. Jason Goes
Yeah,
to Hell.
wasn't that the one where he was out in space?
Yes, yeah, and
Okay.
that came out in like 2002, and I was like 12ish at that time, and I started watching all them when I was like 6, and I was born in '89, so you can do the math, but it was definitely past '92 or '93 or whenever Jason Goes to Hell came out. But yeah, I watched all of those movies, and I just loved them, and I loved being scared, and then I have a funny story because I was watching on my first walk. No, I watched it before, but it was like years after the first time I saw it, and it was Friday the 13th. I believe it was the final chapter, if I'm not mistaken. It was on TV. They were running a marathon. It was a Friday the 13th, and it was a marathon of all the movies. And I think it was part 4 that was on, and Jason ended up turning off the power, and we were having a thunderstorm. Exactly the same time he should pulled the power off. Our power went off, and I was like maybe 8 years old at the time. I'm running in the living room, mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy. Jason's gonna come and kill me. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, Jason turned the power off, and our power went off. They're like, you're watching that horror movie again, aren't you? I'm like, yes. They're like, this is why you don't watch horror movies.
Yeah, I remember an incident like that. It was when Blair Witch barely came out.
Oof.
And it was right on the part where the dude was running from the witch and hiding in the woods. Me and my girlfriend were huddled together on Halloween night, and my dad comes in and pounds on the damn door, and about made me piss myself.
Yeah.
So I have a question now. What do you think of the ending of what is it, Halloween?
Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
So I'm a filmmaker myself. So people that are big diehard Halloween fans, because don't get me wrong, I'm probably one of the biggest Halloween fans you can ever meet. But I am a filmmaker as well. As a Halloween movie, it wasn't good because it's not a Halloween movie. It didn't even have the spooky autumn type of atmosphere. Even the leaves, the trick or treating, all that stuff didn't feel like right. But as a filmmaker and as a movie itself, it was pretty decent. I wish there would have been more Michael. I wish there would have been a hell of a better battle between Michael and Laurie. I really wish that that Michael wasn't ragdolled by Corey and did the whole, mesmerizing, I take your soul type of deal. That was kind of weird. But overall, it was a decent movie, and I thought the end was amazing. I thought the way they killed him by throwing him into like a meat grinder or whatever it was, I thought that was absolutely brilliant. You can't kill this guy. You shot him, you stabbed him, you beat him, you've done everything you could possibly do to this man. You burned him alive. You did everything you could do to this guy, and he hasn't died. So what do? You crush him up entirely in a meat grinder, and it works.
Yep.
It was a good ending.
I think it was a good ending for the Jamie Lee Curtis to finally bow out and say, bye.
Yeah, and another thing, as one thing that bothered me as a filmmaker itself was she's been waiting for 40 years for this random man because they're not siblings anymore. So she waited for 40 years for this random guy who has been locked up for 40 years to come after her. She built up this bunker and everything. And then, this whole massacre happened in the Halloween Kills. Her daughter dies. The biggest massacre in the world happened, in the town happened ever. And then, Halloween Ends comes 4 years later. He's still alive, and she's baking pies, living in a suburban house like a housewife, and she's not even That to me kind of bothered me because it's like, okay, well, you've been waiting for this man for 40 years. He's locked up. Now he's out there, and you're not even giving a shit at this point. You're like fearless.
Yeah,
like that kind of
book about it.
Yeah. I didn't enjoy that part. I thought the opening was amazing. I thought the opening was absolutely brilliant where the kid got killed. I don't think Corey should have been the quote unquote new shape. I get the whole shape changes or whatever. But if you're going to end Laurie's story, you need Laurie and Michael to have the biggest, most brutal, most bloodiest battle of their lives and either have Laurie die, Michael die, or them both die. And I think the way they did it with Laurie coming out on top, Michael being completely crushed and, ripped to shreds by that meat grinder, was a beautiful ending. I don't think they needed the mob at the end. I don't think the whole town needed to come out because there's no way in hell that they got that message out to the whole town that they're there that quick.
Yeah, and the thing I was actually like, oh no, she's gonna die was when she gave up and she was like letting him choke her to death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was like, no, don't kill off Jamie Lee Curtis. She's still hot as hell.
Yeah, I didn't know how that. I didn't know I didn't know any spoilers. I go into it fresh. I stay off social media until I go to see it. And I was glad I did. I'm glad some people did warn me go in with an open mind because if they didn't tell me that, I probably would have been pissed beyond belief if I didn't have the open mind. Opportunity. Like I had to go in there open-minded, and I'm glad I did because then I got to realize, okay, well, this is interesting turn of events.
Yeah.
God,
it is such an honor to be here with you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been so glad to have you on. One more question I do got for you, and it's just for you to promote anything you got, social media, Facebook, websites,
Okay.
haunts, anything you want to promote.
Okay. Well, next year our hunt is going to be bigger and better.
Okay.
Um, Spook Show Haunted Screen Park in Price, Utah. It is a 1,400-acre
Nice.
park, and we ranked, what was it, five and
4 out of 5.
top
Yeah, top 5.
top five
And we were
out of 15 haunts in the state of Utah.
Wow.
And all the haunts above us are multi-million-dollar, and the haunts below us are multi-million-dollar, and we are not.
Wow.
Fear Factory.
That's awesome.
And people that came down from Fear Factory, man, even when they put a review, I loved it because they were talking about the camper creeper and his wife.
Nice.
And when they came in, they said the camper creeper and his wife gave a new meaning to brutality.
Nice. Nice.
That was about me and my actor friend Katie. She's such a great actress, man.
Nice.
And I love work. I do have a few things to say.
Yeah.
I love working and talking with younger people about this because, as you said, not a lot of light is shined on the haunt industry as actors.
Yes.
You know, but me and Scott here, we work with what was the youngest we worked with this year? 12? A 12-year-old this year. And it was all their first time acting and doing it. And
They were really good.
go get her, please. The fun part is they come to us and ask us for our opinion on how should I do this or how should I do that.
Mhm.
You know, we love being able to do this because, Scott, how long have you been hunting for?
Since 97.
Since 97. God, you're old. He's another member of Oni's Legion here.
Nice. If he wants to come on the show, I'll be more than happy to have him on. Give me his Facebook info. I can send him a request, or he can send me one, whatever works.
Yeah, that'll be that. Yeah, hell yeah. I'm sure there's some actors in my group that would love to be interviewed by you because
absolutely.
it's an honor to be on this show, man. Seriously, it's like, you know, not many people search out haunt actors just to interview them about what they have done and everything. And it's kind of sad.
It is. And I love a good story, and I love giving exposure to people that don't really get the exposure. Now, I have bigger named actors on my show, and I have people that nobody may have ever heard of. And I love to have, and every story is always different. And I love to do that and give that exposure to them.
And that's another thing too. Oni's Legion is starting to get their own merchandise going. We have cups, shirts, all kinds of crap now.
That's awesome.
As a matter of fact, I think after this, I'm going on Facebook and giving away some new stickers that just barely got made today.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. And see, that's what we do with most of our stuff is we give it away.
And that's amazing. And that's how you build a community. You don't build a group, you build a community.
Yes, you build a family. That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's a haunt family.
Exactly.
You know, and it takes more than one person to keep a village running.
Exactly.
So anything else you want to ask me there, young sir?
Nope. That's everything. I got everything I needed. I'm so glad to have you on. Before I let you go, I do want to say to make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, to slash that subscribe button. Like the video, comment, whatever you want to do, as well as share it on all the socials. And of course, if you're watching on like Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, and all the other podcasting platforms, make sure to comment, rate, like, whatever. Make sure you do all that as well. And I thank you so much. You can go to virtual merch booth to get any Slasher Scotty merchandise that I have out there as well. Thank you so much, Dizzy, for taking the time tonight to join me.
Thank you. It was an honor, man.
Absolutely. You have a great rest of your night.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.